The West Virginia Mountaineers are gearing up for Penn State. And you guys have been messaging me, tweeting at me, get another player on the show. So I got another player on the show, and I didn't just get any player. I got one of the fan favorites. And not only that, but this is a guy that's been around for a long time. This is as loyal as a Mountaineer as you could possibly get in every sense of the word, right? So we're really excited to have this guy on the show. Our starting center, Brandon Yates. What's going on, man?
Not much. Just chilling. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah. Glad to have you, man. And thanks for doing it, even though we've already had some adversity before the show even started. So I really appreciate you, man. So you texted me earlier, and you said just get out of meetings. One of the questions I wanted to go over first is, and it's not probably what everybody's expected me to ask first, but just how many meetings do you guys have? Because it seems like every time I talk to a player, they just get out of meetings.
We have a meeting. We have meetings about meetings. We have a meeting for like 5 minutes. Honestly, I'd probably say on a normal practice day, we probably have at least 5 meetings, and a normal off day, we have probably even twice that, just to get everything squared away and stuff like that, and just going over film. So it's just a ton of meetings all day, every day, especially around this time of the year, with stuff coming up. So meetings we're just jamming meetings anytime we get.
So you guys had a scrimmage yesterday, and we've caught a few pieces of that here and there. How do you feel like you performed?
I feel like personally I performed great. Production numbers was pretty good. I think as an offensive line, we performed pretty well. We're looking pretty good, looking pretty explosive on offense. I mean, as you can see from the short little clips you've seen on our social media pages, but we're pretty explosive. We're pretty we got a lot of guys. We can get the ball into a lot of guys' hands, and they can make a lot of things happen. So the team's looking really, really good right now.
Awesome, man. And by the way, guys, if you have a question for Brandon or for me, the super chat button is down below. Don't forget to donate to the show if that's something you want to do, if that's one way to do it. Also, you can just repost or share this video out wherever you are. That's also a great way to help the show. One other thing, Brandon, is I heard somebody talk about I think it might have been Josiah Trotter on his interview the other day, which was extremely impressive for as young as he is. But they were talking about iPad time. They actually keep track of that.
Yeah. They can tell how much time you spend on watching film and stuff like that, because
that's wild.
You got the whole database, and they can see how much you really spend time on your iPad and stuff like that. Me personally, I don't have an iPad anymore. My iPad got stolen in 2020, so I usually spend most of my time at the stadium watching film on the computers there. So
it got stolen?
Yeah, back in 2020.
Wow, gosh, that was left tackle years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, that's one of the things I love about you is, so you redshirted in 2019, correct? Am I right about that? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head here. You redshirted in 2019 because 2020 was COVID, and that's when you were all Big 12 honorable mention because you played in 10 games. I think you played 8 at left tackle, over 500 snaps that year. In 2021, you started all 13 games at left tackle. 888 offensive snaps, including a season-high 90 against Texas. How much has playing left tackle in a league with really good pass rushers, nobody ever talks about it, but this league has extremely good pass rushers.
Oh, yeah.
How much did playing left tackle prepare you for playing guard, playing center? You even played right tackle. I mean, you played every position on the line. You're like one of those guys that you're going to be uber prepared come draft time. And how much has playing that spot helped you, and how different is it than to play left and center?
I mean, going out there, like I was a lot younger. Body type. Really, what I could think about when I think about playing left tackle and going down the center is just really body types. I mean, body types out there a lot different, a lot more nimble guys. You know what I mean? A lot more third down pass rushers and stuff like that. A lot of premier pass rushers going out there and just doing their thing and just moving around, just trying to get to the passer. So going out there. Their body types are different. At the time, I was younger, so my body wasn't really that developed. So I was around like 290, 295. And I was just going out there, and as a young guy, just trying to – because I've always been a very athletic guy. So I went out there and just kind of do the best I can do under those circumstances with, like, COVID and stuff like that. So my whole thing was just go out there and just do what the team needed me to do. So if they wanted me to play left tackle, I was going to play left tackle. I played there for a long time, also including high school. So like when I'm going out there, just playing, it helps me out in my development because I was able to get those high pressure situations out of my way. You know what I mean? So now when it comes down to situations where I'm at like right now, that I can really be relaxed because you know what I mean. Like being left tackle on 3rd and long. You know what I mean? At the age of 19 years old, like you know what I mean. Like not a lot of people can do that. And if you can go out there and do that, you can go down the center and snap in a high pressure situation when it's like short yardage situations and goal line situations where they need you to snap the ball, be perfect, and also make the right calls and get about the right people. I think that helped my development in the mental aspect and the physical aspect. Just going out there and just being athletic and being able to work in space. So like in situations where I had to work in an odd front when I'm by myself and my guards are helping out the tackles, like I'm by myself in space, like that helped me out and be able to work in space. So just the mental and physical aspect really just helped me out in my development as I went down and worked down my way to center.
Pokemon Kid Entertainment said, "Hey Brandon, you were my favorite offensive player," and he said, "I mean, you are my favorite." Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Timothy Green said, "I like the fact he's very light on his feet at the center position, which is very important in today's college football. Let's go Mountaineers." You know, that's something that doesn't get talked about enough. You know, last year we primarily were a zone running team, correct?
Yeah.
We did gap block. I'm not saying we did.
Yeah.
But I feel like this year we're going to be able to implement a little bit more gap blocking because of your traits at the center position. Can you talk a little bit about that, or is that something that you're not supposed to talk about?
I could talk about a little bit on the
Okay.
just the aspect of that, you know.
Okay.
Just kind of talking about like was Zach last year, you know what I mean? He was a lot more a power guy, so we did a lot of things where he can really go to his strengths, you know what I mean? And his strength on offensive line last year was really we had a lot of athletic guys, but we really had some strong and powerful guys, you know what I mean? This year we have a lot of guys that can move and move well. I'm not saying we couldn't move well last year, but I'm saying we got a lot more guys that can move a lot more different ways, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. We got a lot of guys that's being very athletic. You know what I mean? We got Wyatt, you know, Wyatt, everybody sees Wyatt. He's extremely athletic. He can be in space and he can do a lot of crazy things out there. Tomas, like he's a freaking nature athlete. Like, I mean, that's one guy like I look at, man. A lot of people are going to notice and he can move really well. Like he's 6'6", 320, and he can run like a 19 miles per hour. Like he can get out there and move. Like he's a freaking nature athlete. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I can move pretty well. You know what I mean? I've been moving pretty well for a long time. I can get up to like about almost 19. I'm not breaking 19 yet, but I can get up there pretty well. We got guy Jaquay, like he's pretty athletic. Like he's a basketball guy, sweet feet. You know what I mean? He can move pretty well. We got Nick Malone, like he's crazy. He's a crazy athlete as well, man. He can probably get up the same as Tomas. Like you let him loose, like he's gonna get around. So, I mean, we got a lot of guys who can do a lot of things and just we very versatile. And we all work hard on the strength aspect. So I think we able to broaden out more of our aspects of what we use in our run game and our pass game and doing a lot of different things to keep teams on their toes. Because if you have an athletic offensive line that can do everything, teams are just going to be hard to kind of game plan against that.
So that right tackle spot, obviously Nick Malone's in the driver's seat there, but Xavier Bosley's a guy who, grateful to him, he let me break the news whenever he actually made the decision to transfer to West Virginia. I'll be forever grateful to him for that because, truthfully, I didn't know it at the time because I was kind of new that you're supposed to let the players make those announcements. I didn't even know. I was so green. I did it. But I had him on the show as well, and, you know, he was a freshman All-American last year. So the fact that Nick's still beating him out this late into the camp and everything says a lot about Nick because Xavier, from what I understand, is pretty much plug and play or close to it. What have you seen out of Xavier Bosley over there, though, as far as the future of him on the offensive line? He's a young player, probably can relate to a lot of what he's going through.
Yeah. I mean, what I think really what you do well as an offensive line, like we're a pretty close-knit group, you know what I mean? And that stemmed from years ago. Like that started years ago, like 2019, 2020. Like we started fresh. We started bringing in guys who really had really good work ethic and really good characters, you know what I mean? We started building on that character and we started building that room. And like what I like about Xavier, he came into this room and he just really bought into the process, you know what I mean? We brought him in. and really he just really asked a lot of questions, and he really wanted to learn. You know what I mean? Him coming from a smaller school and coming to this just different kind of realm. We have guys that's freshman All-Americans. We have guys that's All-Americans. We have guys that all kinds of talents, you know what I mean, in the room. And he come in and just bought in, you know what I mean? And he came in and did the right things. So I think the future for the offensive line is going to be really, really good. We got a lot of guys behind us like Landon Livingston. He's doing pretty well right now. We got Sully Weedman. He's doing pretty well. I mean, the whole room. Like I think the whole room is really grown in the way we want the guys to grow, and everybody's getting stronger. And our jobs as leaders, as me, Wyatt, Tomas, Jaquay, and Nick, are to just teach them how to work and teach them how to just really work as an offensive line. And I think he came in and bought into that. He's getting better each and every single day. You know, he's a young guy. He needs to develop his body a little bit differently. That's the reason I would say him and Nick's battle is a little bit different, because Nick's him and me and Nick are the same age, and we was able to be under Coach Mike for a long period of time and develop our bodies. Like for him, it's just really developing his body, getting stronger and getting more mobile and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I for sure think he's going to be with our guys that's going to be traveling, and for sure, like he's going to be the guy that we can be able to put him in the games and really be able to help us out when we need him.
And you think about that right tackle spot, how important it becomes next year, because Nico's going to be the starter likely, and that means that's going to be the blindside tackle spot.
Yeah.
And so whoever gets that job is going to be really important really quick. So, hopefully it's him. But, hey, look, as long as the offensive line is still taking that step forward, because you guys are losing 4 guys after this year, so it's going to be a big transition. And I think it's going to be a smoother transition than people think, because, like you said, the room it's just not the same as it was when you first got here.
Yeah.
Speaking of replacing people, I think a lot of people want to talk about, and I titled this on the thumbnail, Replacing Frazier, because I think that's the single biggest challenge people on the outside, maybe not inside the building, felt like, on the offensive side, is how do you replace a Zach Frazier who was dominant in his performance in the preseason game yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were ready for that when the time came, based on what you've had to go through. But you probably fielded a lot of questions about it too. But let's just talk about it. Obviously, replacing maybe the greatest offensive line in the history of the program. What has that been like?
I mean, Zach's been here since 2020, so me and him really just kind of developing at the same time and develop around the same areas. You know what I mean? And one thing I admired about Zach was his work. You know what I mean? He did the same thing every single day. He did more once the attention started coming his way. He started doing more and more. You know what I mean? And like just watching him work, it's a great thing to see. You know what I mean? A lot of people see what he does on the field, but not a lot of people see what he does. Like he stays here all day, watches film, gets his body right. You know what I mean? And as I got older, I realized that I needed to do the exact same thing. So when I started working on my body and started getting better in certain situations and like that, I really saw the work that he was doing. So I was really trying to implement that in me into my game. So that really helped in my development, and like being a center after him, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just coming in and just doing what I can do. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to change anything out. I'm not trying to be Zach Frazier. I'm trying to be me and just go out there and just have no drop off and just go out there and just keep doing me. I think that a lot of things he has in his game that I'm trying to implement, and also still have my own flavor and my own style and type of things. And just I think our offensive line is going to be in a great place.
Well, listen, it's no secret, at least not to me, because I watch everybody. I watch all the press conferences. I follow everybody's accounts. You're one of the strongest guys, if not the strongest guy in the room. A lot of people may not know that, but as far as the weightlifting goes, you're a power guy, and so talk about that development from your freshman year till now. You admitted early on that you weren't really physically ready, even those early on games when you were starting at left tackle. Your athleticism got you by. Now you've got it all together, and you had a long time to do it, mature. What about your journey as a weightlifter / football player? How has that gone for you? And are you happy with where you're at?
Oh yeah, I'm for sure happy where I'm at right now. I mean, really took me over the threshold of where I was from when I was younger. When I was younger, I just kind of got by. You know what I mean? Just kind of really just went. I love the weight room, but I really didn't obsess about it. I really didn't obsess about the weight room. I really didn't want to. I didn't really think about all the attention to details that you need to really be able to be get to that next level of really developing my body. And I really sat down with the coaches one time, and they gave me a lot of feedback. Talking about like in the weight room, I just need a little bit more, a better energy, a little bit more aggressiveness when it comes to lifting weights. So after that, I just started tweaking my mind and really started investing my thought process into that weight room. And I really went in there, and whatever the goal weight that Coach Mike had on there, I told my brain, like, we're gonna go 10 more up. We're gonna go 10 more on top of that, 10 more, 10 more, 10 more. We're gonna go more. I can't let nobody catch up to me. That's my whole goal. Was like, if somebody we're working out together, and your goal weight's within 10 of mine, I'm going 10 more. Like I'm not letting you get close to me. So my goal was to get more and more and pack more onto that weight. And as guys got to a point, like I was just like, all right, cool. Like all my numbers are just jumping up, and I never, like, my whole thought process was like, I'm gonna die under this weight. Like I'm not gonna. There's no way I'm gonna let this weight beat me. You know what I mean? So when I'm squatting, you can put any weight on my back. I'm gonna get it up. I'd rather die on this weight than drop this weight. So that's my thought process, and I was gonna jump up and I was gonna go up regardless. You know what I mean? And it's buying into the system really got me where I am at today. You know.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that answer. Jacob Yoho had a typo. He said, can WVU beat Penn State?
Yeah. For me, thinking about that is when people ask me, are we ready for Penn State? You know what I mean? I sit there and think about it, then I always ask people.
There last year in the middle of it.
And then when I ask people the question in return is like, can Penn State beat us? That's the real question I like. Can Penn State beat us? You know what I mean? If we go out there and have our best game, and they have their best game, I completely back my team up 1,000%. You know what I mean? And that's a team that has a whole bunch of talent, whole bunch of guys that can go first round, second round, third round. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like when we get between those lines, like you have to beat me, you know what I mean, to win the game. So we just gotta go out there and do what we can do. And we'll see August 31st. You know.
I've had to defend you guys so much this offseason. I've called people out. I've had people from huge platforms come on here. I've had the Locked On Penn State guy on who really felt was like that spread is legitimate and that Penn State should be double-digit favorite. And so I just tell them people, because I think people outside of West Virginia don't realize what we have coming back. First of all, I don't want to get off on a tangent here because I'm interviewing you, but first of all, Garrett Green was in his first game as a starter last year, nowhere close to what he became, right?
Yeah.
Towards the end of the year. You guys went into that game. I think a lot of people forget Neil Brown wasn't exactly comfortable going into that game last year. That's not a good topic, but going into last year, it was a question about his future. So that played, I think, a little part in the play calling. And so he had to play it like that. We hadn't developed our receiver room yet. And the team that played North Carolina is not the team that played Penn State. I promise you that. That's just my view on it. 93% of that same production that should have won 10 games comes back this year. And a lot of people on offense. So a lot of people don't realize just how much we have returning that was here last year. And people like to point to that Penn State defense. Well, you know what you're getting into because you saw it last year. And you sound pretty confident to me. So I feel confident about it. I'm excited about it, man. I really am. We got another question here for you. Brandon, do you think this year's line is more solid for the run or pass? And which do you like personally to do better?
I think our offensive line is geared for both. Question. It's kind of a questionable choice on like when you think about Joe Moore Award. I mean, we had the number one rushing offense in all Power 5, and we had was number 2 in sacks allowed. You know what I mean? And one sack was something that was a little fluke. You know what I mean? I want to look at stuff like that. You know what I mean? The numbers don't lie. You know what I mean? And nothing against the committee or anything, whoever selects that. You know what I mean? I just think the numbers don't lie, and we went out there and did exactly what we needed to do. I mean, we was 2 games away from being in the Big 12 championship. You know what I mean? And really was 1 game. You know what I mean? If we win that Oklahoma State game, we're in the Big 12 championship. And I think I don't think a lot of people focus on the game. You know what I mean? And one thing I've spoken out on my Twitter page is like I feel like A lot of these media sites are really just really lazy. You know what I mean? I don't really like that. And I'll speak up on it because I really feel like if you can hold me accountable, I can hold you accountable. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely. That's
I
how it
think
should
that's
be.
unfair. As you can hold me as an athlete accountable. If that dude make a mistake or do something like that, that you guys would jump on me and make these articles and say this and the third. And I think that it's kind of lazy. Like you can't look our roster top to bottom and say that we're middle of the pack.
It's not true.
I just can't sit there. I can't. Cause I back my teammates 1,000%. I seen the work. I see what we do, and I see the guys we brought in, and you know what I mean. And I think that's just kind of lazy, you know. But offensive line aspect, like the numbers don't lie. We bring back pretty much almost everybody. I mean, Zach and Doug they left, but we still bring back the same amount of production. And I just think that run or pass, I think we can do both. That comes back to the versatility question, the athletic ability. We can do both. We still got things we need to work on, of course, but we're I think when we get to that point of August 31st, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised on the quality of the offensive line.
You know, and I'll tell you what, I was thinking about, the losses on the offense the other day because that 93% number is big, and I'll tell you somebody who doesn't get enough credit for last year either. Devin Carter was really good last year. I think people thought he was going to have a little bit bigger year than he ended up having, but what he allowed you guys to do on offense going deep a lot, he was a security blanket for Garrett in a lot of situations. I just think he deserves more credit than he got from last year because he really played well at times. But Jaden Bray, Justin Robinson, those guys come in this year out of the transfer portal. You've got Gin Ross. I've been hearing a lot of things about him. Can you talk about these new guys a little bit and just what you've seen personally out of them? Can you start with Gin Ross?
Gin Ross, like Greg, man.
Gin Ross, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Greg. Yeah, he's
the new tight end.
He's. I mean, our tight end room is huge, and he adds to the size. You know what I mean? We got Cole. He was like 6. He's like 6'7". We got General. He has to be like 6'6", 6'7". We got Jackson Marco. He has to be like he grew. You know what I mean? We got a pretty big tight end room, and he's adding to that, and he's doing pretty well so far. You know what I mean? Him coming from JUCO and him coming up this level. You know what I mean? He's a learning curve for him, but he's doing a really well. He's doing a really good job of really coming in and buying into the process. Like he plays hard, and that's really what you need at this level. You play hard. A lot of things is going to teeter your way. You know, when talking about like Jaden Bray, like he's gonna be a really good player coming this fall, and he's gonna do a lot of. He does a lot of really good things, and he's a player. Like when we talk about in our offensive meetings, we talk about if just be a player. BAP, be a player. That's a player right there. He likes to just go out there and he just does really good things. J Rob, man, he's huge. You know what I mean? And we always need a guy like that. You know what I mean? He kind of reminds me of kind of like Bryce. You know what I mean? Bryce for Whedon. And if he keeps working on it and keep working hard and I think he's going to be a really good player for us. I think it's just a wide receiver room. Like you look at top to bottom, like all those guys are really, really good. You know what I mean? I can't look at one guy as like, you know what I mean? But every guy on the wide receiver room is a player. You know what I mean? They can make plays and do a lot of different things.
I'll tell you who I'm looking forward to is Day Farmer. His high school tapes is insane. And from what I've heard from some other reporters is he hit with the ball in his hands. He's like extremely explosive.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that?
He's pretty shifty. He got a couple guys that scrimmed yesterday.
Did he really?
He had a couple guys scrimmed yesterday. He's pretty shifty. He's pretty fast. He's gonna be a good addition for us.
That's great. And I heard he's going to be playing behind Rodney over there at the H, so that's going to be cool. So, the offense is good to go. I think a lot of people want to know you'll go up against that defense every day. And, I don't think they're happy with where they finished last year as a whole. Numbers wise, if you look at like where they finished in the country, I think it was 70s or 80s. They want to be better than that. And, they brought in 6 people out of the portal. And so I think a lot of people want to know just you go up against those guys every day. What improvements have you seen them make?
I think it's just defense as a whole, communication and chemistry is just it's getting better every single day, but I think that's the one thing that we brought in a lot of guys that really fits in and gels in with our culture. that we're trying to do here. And you know what I mean, playing against them every day, like I could see it. Like, you know what I mean, when their energy's high and like they're flying around, like they might be one of the best defenses in the country. The way they move around, the way they do things, they do a lot of really good things. And I think our defense is going to be in a really good place. You know what I mean? They didn't like how they got talked about last year, and they really have a chip on their shoulder. And I think a lot of guys on our team have a chip on their shoulder, and you can see it in the work we did this summer. You know what I mean? A lot of guys just changed their bodies, and a lot of guys changed the way their practice habits. And I think a lot of guys are really, really ready for this season. And our defense has really, really been stepping it up and really, you know what I mean? And we challenge each other. You know what I mean? As an offense, we challenge them, and they challenge us, and we go back and forth. And the defense just does a really good job right now of communicating, and the chemistry right now. They're they're playing at a high level right now, and we're gonna get better. You know what I mean? It's only the second week of camp, and we're gonna get even more better as the time go on. You know what I mean? And I think there's gonna be a huge improvements people are gonna see. You know what I mean? Our defensive line, they're flying around, they're doing really good things. Sean Martin, he's out there leading the defensive line and doing really good things. I mean, I think a very underrated guy that not a lot of people talk about is Eddie. Eddie goes around. He's a high motor guy for sure. He goes around, flies around.
What about
does really
TJ?
Good. TJ, yeah, he comes in. He played a lot of ball. You know what I mean? With him, like he played a lot of ball. He has a lot of snaps, and with him, he's very savvy and he has a really good awareness of offensive schemes, and he goes out there and he has really good high IQ and he does a lot of good things. So he's gonna be a really good addition for us, and he adds into that defensive line and really adds to that overall culture. You know what I mean? And Josiah Trotter, I mean, that kid, like he flies around, like he has really, really good instincts. And you know what I mean? You see it in his family, like his instincts are high. He sees something, he goes after it. There's no hesitation. He for sure flies. I mean, that linebacker room is pretty good. They're top to bottom, they're pretty good. You know what I mean? Ty French, he came in, he's doing a really good job. Tyron Bradley, yeah, he's doing a really good job. Tyron Bradley, like a lot of people,
man, can he set the edge?
Yeah, he's pretty good too. I mean, we got a lot of guys on defense that a lot of people are sleeping on, and I think a lot of people are paying attention. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people go for the easy clicks. They pay attention to Colorado, all these other teams. I just think, hey, you gotta look. You know what I mean? We got a lot of guys on defense that does a really good job, like Aubrey Burks. That whole back end, man, it's just we got a lot of good guys.
So Neil came out and said who the two starters at corner were in his press conference the other day. Eight guards on one side who didn't allow a catch when West Virginia played Duquesne. I think a lot of people forget about that, although we diced them up. But it wasn't against him. He didn't allow a catch in that game, which blew me away when I heard that. And then Garnett Hollis of Northwestern on the other side. Really two different kind of players. Garnett Hollis is 6'2". He's a big, long, lanky guy. I did see him get beat today, by the way, on one of them catches. But everybody gets beat every now and then, especially with our wide receiver room. So we kind of know some names now. Some names are starting to come out. Anthony Wilson's going to fill one safety spot, which is going to be, we know what he brings to the table as far as the physicality goes. And then that other safety spot, I think, is still being figured out, but we're excited about it. Aubrey, as you mentioned, has been around forever. Him playing close to the line of scrimmage, you've seen him in one spot for a lot of years, right? So what's it been like seeing him at that nickel spot?
I mean, he has really good instincts. Like he flies around pretty well, and he leads the defense pretty well with his communication and his being a spoken leader. You know, he goes out there and he flies around us. He just knows the game of football. You know what I mean? He's a high IQ guy. You know what I mean? I think defensively leans onto him because he's been here a while. You know what I mean? And he does a lot of good things. He communicates pretty well. You know what I mean? With him moving around and being closer to the line, I think he's a really good tackler. You know what I mean? And I think he goes around and just does a lot of things. And I think more he can get close to that ball, I think our defense is going to do a lot of good things.
Mountain Mama said, "Hey, Brandon, so glad you are part of the Mountaineer family. We're lucky to have you. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to watching you and the rest of the team play this season." So I meant to read that. We've had a lot of compliments for you on here. I meant to read some of them. Russell Snyder said, "Brandon, Paul's regulars on here have never doubted WVU's ability to beat Penn State this year." Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I heard you guys are going to be fire up front, said Andrew Smith. Appreciate that, Andrew.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There was one other one I wanted to get to really quick before we moved on to a couple of last questions. Here was a good one. Brandon, how many campuses did you visit before WVU during your recruiting process? And how do our facilities compare? Which I know the answer to that.
Yeah. I mean, 2019, that was a little different. You know what I mean? We still had the old locker room, old facilities and stuff like that. The schools I visited, it was a UNLV, of course, because I lived in the area.
Las Vegas Liberty High School, yeah.
Yeah. And went to USC, Southern California. Went to
Did you?
Arizona State. Yeah. Southern California. That was a pretty nice place, you know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? That's just too much distractions. LA, that's just too much going on. That just didn't really match my vibe. Um, at Arizona State, it was a great program. I went there, visited when they had Herm Edwards, and he's a great coach, and everybody knows him.
Yeah.
It just wasn't really the best fit for me. And then when I did make that the first visit, because I took 2 visits to West Virginia, the first visit, you know what I mean, I just fell in love with the area. Who recruited me was Wickline.
Oh, Kelby Wickline. Or no, his dad.
Yeah, his dad.
I said Kelby.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. I forgot all about Joe Wickline.
Yeah, he recruited me.
Good offensive line coach.
Yeah. He was. For sure.
You know what's something that makes me happy, by the way? Matt Moore got a ton of heat his first couple years at WVU, and it wasn't fair at all because of the way Dana left, in my opinion, just my opinion, the way Dana left the program. I felt like he left it completely bare. So,
yeah, I can talk about that all day. Me personally, I have a lot of thoughts upon that, but that's.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
Hey, I mean, when Dana recruited me, like he's you know what I mean, Dana.
Yeah.
The way he recruits is very different from how Neil Brown recruited, and I have nothing really bad to say about him. But I just think that at my young age, at the age of 18, I would have benefited from being at least told about him leaving. You know what I mean? And I think that just wasn't fair to me. You know what I mean? Because I learned him leaving through Twitter. You know what I mean? And all the guys that in a group chat together, we all was like confused. Like, what do we do from here? Like, what could we do? What are our options? Like, we just signed because the signing period. They just started doing the early signing period, and we just signed. You know what I mean? In that December, and it was just like, what could we do? You know what I mean? I just really felt like the communication wasn't there. You know what I mean? And Wickline, he kept it really honest with me. He talked to me about it. You know what I mean? I just wish that I was just kept a little more transparent about it. But
man, I know you wanted to beat him last year. You know, and the way that game ended was just horrible for all of us, especially you guys that leave it all out there on the field.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you could learn from everything, man. And I guess there were some really tough lessons to learn from that game. Don't take your helmet off in the end zone, like all that kind of stuff. That was a learning moment for Garrett. But emotions are a big part of the game, and I really do wish that wasn't a penalty because it's a dumb one, but it is. So we had to learn from that. So, but yeah. Did you see where Dana was talking about West Virginia still in his press conferences? He just got introduced over at TCU the other day.
Yeah,
he's still bringing us up.
Yeah, he's still talking about like he had his reasons, which I mean, by all means, like I don't know the exact details of what happened and everything, but you know what I mean. I just think that situations like that, you know what I mean. You just gotta, at the end of the day, like your players are. That's just their whole job is to take care of these players and stuff like that. And I think that we should have been cared of people that just signed. They're 18 years old, not really knowing what's going on. I think that we should have been cared of first. So I feel like that's just the only thing I had to say about it. Nothing against him. I mean, my life get up where I wanted to be at. But
do you think you would have went in the portal, or it's hard to say?
No, because I guess the way I fell in love with West Virginia different from from the sports aspect. Because I was with the highest recruited player in my family. Only like 2 people in my family play football or even made it this far. You know what I mean? So a lot of things I had to figure out for myself. And the biggest thing I kind of just talked to myself about was like outside of football, like would I still be in this program? Would I still be in this state, still going to school here? And I feel like West Virginia checked all the boxes for me. And you know what I mean? And when everything was going down, like at the end of the day, like I still my reasons for coming here was completely different for football. So regardless, I was going to come here, and I ever thought about transferring. I never thought about transferring. And the fact is, like I fell in love with the state, and you know what I mean. It's just really this place is really a place I called home. So I really felt like I didn't have any other place to go. Even when things were in doubt, I've never doubted this program or never doubted the state. So
Appreciate that. Guys, there's a few more people in here now. I'll say what I did at the beginning of the show. There's a few ways you can support the show. Obviously, the super chat button is always there, but also liking and sharing also helps in commenting. Any of that stuff is great, man. It really does help the show. Big Aaron, haven't seen you in a while. Glad to see you back, man. Or at least if you have been in there, I haven't seen you in a little bit. So he said, Brandon, what is the energy like in the locker room right now about making a run for the playoffs this year? Wow. Might be one of our best times to get there with all the vets coming back. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, right now we're just really focused on the Big 12 championship, I think, because
That's all we've heard.
Yeah, we look how things are shaping. You know what I mean? You get to the Big 12 championship, you have a really good, strong opportunity to get that bid to get to the playoffs. So our goal is to go to the Big 12 championship, and wherever carries from that point, like we're going to get there. But I mean, we have a really good chance. You know what I mean? We're in a really good situation. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
We'll go out there and execute for sure.
There's no doubt. I really, I was trying to think the other day, how many years has it been since we had a legitimate chance to play in a conference championship game? Not even looking at the playoffs yet. I was thinking it's probably like right before you came, 2018, which probably, just being honest, as far as preseason goes.
Yeah.
Looking at it, the preseason, I would say 2018 was probably the last time I wasn't this excited,
Yeah.
So that was that last Will Greer squad, and we unfortunately didn't play as well, which you probably paid a lot of attention to that team.
Yeah.
Since you were coming to West Virginia. So have you got time for a couple more questions, or you got to go?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
It's our off day, so I got nothing but that.
Okay. Cool. I got a lot, let's see. Eric Flowers, he said he's almost at $1,000 on the 6.5 win mark. I like that bet. I think you're going to win some money on that one, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to come online with Mountaineer Paul and giving us insight into this year's team, Brandon.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But the other question I think I meant to get back to is he wanted to know what the energy in the locker room is like right now, just overall, as far as just obviously you're focusing on a Big 12 championship, but I wanted to expand on that question just for a second. Like, we've heard a lot about the culture that Neil Brown has built at West Virginia. We hear it all the time, but we never really get an explanation on what exactly that is. Can you kind of expand on that?
Talking about like in the locker room aspect, like I think it stems from the people who Coach Brown recruits. You know what I mean? And also we have a big deal in that as well. Like when we host the players and stuff like that, we even give them a thumbs up, thumbs down if you guys get a good fit or not. You know what I mean? That's one thing I like about Coach Brown. Like he gives us a very big say on who we bring into our locker room and
wow,
how sure really develops. You know what I mean? And and I've openly backed up Coach Brown. And talked about, like, you know what I mean? I don't like how some people talk to him because I don't think a lot of people understand like what he does for his program and what he's done for the program. You know what I mean? He's completely flipped it on its head, and brought in a lot of good guys in. You know what I mean? And when I first came in, it was a very different locker room, and to now, like I've seen the development because I've been here the whole time. I've seen how the room has changed and the culture has changed, and we got a lot of guys that bought in the locker room right now. Like we're a close group. I mean, every position room to like if offensive line to the DB room, we can all talk to each other, and we're so close to the point we can hold each other accountable without it being any animosity or anything like that or any negativity. And I like how we're in a good place right now where we can make each other better. You know what I mean? And we all are able to hold each other accountable. And that comes down from Coach Brown all the way down to us and the people he brings in. Because we bring in people that we also have a say so on, and the guys that we really don't think they can fit, when we get rid of them, like, you know what I mean? And with the portal, it definitely helps us out because we're able to get people in we would need and and get the right pieces. And our locker room right now, we're all very much focused on the main goal, and we're continuing to build on that culture. And we're still getting better every single day. You know what I mean? We still only have some guys that came in just in the summertime. We're still gonna get those guys in and still build a culture around them. But I really feel like we got a lot of good guys, and it's in a really good place right now. We're really good, and we're very focused and really focused on the main goal. And we're gonna get better each and every day and every single week. And a lot of people are gonna see the chemistry on the field. Like, you're gonna see the chemistry on the field, how our energy is, and how we have high energy guys, and how everything fits and gels. You know what I mean? And I mean, if you look at the development from the team from 2019 to 2023, like, you can see on the sideline, it's very different than the guys we had before, and we're a lot more closer group, and we carry by each other, and we're all trying to be good teammates to each other. Because I mean, definition of a good teammate is somebody that truly finds joy in another player's success. You know what I mean? We all want each other to be better. You know what I mean? Like, from left tackle to right tackle, from the wide receivers to the running backs to the quarterbacks, to wide receivers to DBs, wide receivers and linebackers to defensive line. We all want each other to be better. We all find things we want to look at and be like, okay, yeah, you're doing a really good job. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I think we really do a good job with praising each other and holding each other accountable.
Great answer, man. Appreciate that. Smack the Devil, which is one of the great names on my channel, says over 40 watching, 18 likes. It's actually a lot more than that. Smack, you can only see the YouTube numbers, but we have also the people over on X, which puts us at like 110 or something right now. But thank you for commenting that. Yes, if you're watching this on X, by the way, thank you for watching. I can't see your comments, but if you want to come over to YouTube, you can do that. Or if you're watching this on X, just hit that repost button for me. It really helps the channel. All right, so Timothy Green, who is a moderator on the channel and is always here, he said, I have a question for Brandon, please. What kind of hobbies do you have, or what do you like to do other than playing college football?
Recently, I'm a big golf guy. I mean, really getting into golf. You know, it's really big. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
With my room, guys like Wyatt likes to play football. I mean, play the golf, and our whole room, we're all pretty much getting into golf right now. We're trying to get Quay into golfing. We're slowly trying to bring him in. And then
what's he do?
Quay, he's a chill guy. He likes to chill around. You know what I mean? When the new NCAA comes out, everybody's been inside playing NCAA for sure.
Who's the best?
Who's the best? Man, I don't even know right now. We haven't really
probably
played
one of the young guys.
Yeah. They got a little more time in their hands. But we started a dynasty against each other. We're trying to get it started up with camp going on. We didn't have that much time, but we got a dynasty set up. We all chose our teams we want to play with, and we're gonna try to see who's gonna be best out of our position room.
So, I feel like our offensive line didn't get enough respect of the game either, really, except for Wyatt. He got graded pretty good.
Yeah.
What was your rating?
It was an 80, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would have gave you at least an 85. But whatever. I mean,
I don't really know what they base it on like how they base it, but I mean, I'm good because I've seen a lot of guys that get a lot worse ratings.
That's true.
Yeah.
And 80's a good player on the game, by the way. It is a good player.
Yeah.
Jaheim, I felt like could have been rated higher.
For sure. Yeah,
he's not fast enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm confused on. I'm confused on. He should definitely be able to break. He should be a little more elusive, a little bit fast enough. And I mean, how they did CJ? They did CJ like he couldn't move at all. So I'm confused on what they base it on.
But that last year's narrative was so bad. I think it's literally taken us a while to get away from that.
Yeah,
I remember last year in the offseason, that coach, the anonymous Big 12 coach, said we had the equivalent of a MAC roster.
Yeah,
like, tell me you don't know football. Like a MAC roster? Seriously? A 9-win team in the Big 12 is a MAC roster? Makes no sense. Which it was the offseason. Everybody was piling on, man. How did you guys get through that? I mean, obviously you knew you were going to finish 14th. But and another thing I want to throw on top of that is how motivating was that for Charles Wesley Goldman to come on and actually be in there for that speech? Was it as good as it looked like on camera?
Yeah, I mean, he came in, he did a pretty good job of really talking to us and really just, you know what I mean? And it's always nice to hear from a guy that's local in the area, you know what I mean? And there's a great in the area and does really great things and is doing really good things with him and his band and moving around and doing things and bringing really much more good intention to West Virginia and to WVU. I mean, he did a really good job with his speech, you know what I mean? And we get a lot of guys come in and talk to us, and we do a pretty good job of bringing in legends and people like that to really get to talk to us. And I really think that really helped us out throughout the offseason because, you know what I mean, at that point, it was everybody against us, and only people that knew our ability was people in the room. And I think that brought us even closer because it's like, okay, they don't really care about us. They got us 14th. When it's like we brought in 4 new teams in the league, we've been in the league this whole time, you know what I mean? And you put us below
them.
And it's just like, okay, all right. You clearly, I think that's what it comes down to for me. It's just laziness to me because I feel like you don't actually look at the people in the players on the roster. You just look and see, well, this is going on. This is happening.
That's what this guy reported.
Yeah, just what this guy reported. You know what I mean? I think it's unfair, but at the end of the day, like I'm not in the game of fairness or not. But I just hope that since you do see that you would decide to hold yourself accountable, which I feel like now they're still not, but it's okay. And then in the day, it just builds us up even more, gets us even closer, which is fine. I'm fine with that.
Herbstreit got his feet held to the fire by McAfee, which was great. I loved seeing that. Yeah. Eric Flowers, thank you for the comment. It's 40 years ago when we beat Penn State in '84. The planets are in alignment again. I'm going to take it straight up, get ranked in the Big 12 championship. Here we come. Appreciate that, man. Really do appreciate that. So, do you know why Ross Dellinger was in West Morgantown the other day?
Oh, no. I had no clue.
No. Okay. He posted the little Amtrak train thing that y'all have going through there.
Yeah.
He's a big time, like one of the biggest reporters in the country. It's just couldn't figure out. He put the 2 eye emojis too, so it might be secret. I don't know. He's like an investigative reporter too, so I'm not exactly sure. All right, so other than Penn State, what do you think the most challenging game on our schedule is this year? He said Oklahoma State stands out to him. I don't know that you've looked past Penn State, but if you can answer that, that'd be good.
Yeah. I mean, you look up and down our schedule. It's the Big 12. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be a tough schedule. Every game's gonna be tough. Right now, we're just looking at really harping on. We're not even just Penn State. It's just really getting a really strong start of the season, and that's our biggest thing because that's going to carry us out throughout the whole season. You know what I mean? The way we kind of structure it is like we have the winter. It prepares you for spring. Spring prepares you for summer. Summer prepares you for fall camp, and fall camp prepares you for the season. And we're really just trying to prepare ourselves for the whole season. You know, I mean, when we look at the schedule that we do have, you know, we have some good stretches in there, and I think it's going to be a really, really good schedule. And I think the hard work we put in right now, really is just going to, and the calluses that we build right now is just going to put us through that point in the season where we can get past. You know what I mean? Because I think we have a stretch where we have K-State, and we have Oklahoma State, and teams like that.
Can you see that?
Yeah, we got Kansas, Iowa State. I mean, pretty much all the teams that's been put over us in the preseason polls.
Yep.
In that small stretch where it's going to be tough. You know what I mean? And it comes down to how we start the season and also how we finish this fall camp. It really comes down to it. I think a game that's going to be really tough is just – I mean, I always talk about it as Arizona just based on the fact –
Absolutely.
Just traveling. I think that's just the biggest thing for me is just traveling.
Does it really matter, the travel? Do you think it hurts?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, because, like, if the way we travel, like the way all college sports travels, like, you know what I mean? You travel the day before the game and you got to get your – it's just we have a lot of meetings and it's a lot of, like, moving around, a lot of moving pieces. Like, we'll go work out that morning, hop on a plane, fly there. From there, we stretch, we doing meetings, all kinds of things. So I think traveling, there's 4 to 5 hours, plus the time change going backwards, plus, you know what I mean, and working out and being able to move and meetings and stuff like that. I think it's going to be tough just for an adjustment period, just based on the fact of what time the game is. If it's a noon game, that's really going to be hard on us. I think, but at the end of the day, like we have to face that adversity, and I think that comes from what we do now. Because if we can face adversity and put ourselves in hard situations now, and we can go to situations and really be able to flourish.
Agreed. I'll tell you a game on the schedule that we better not overlook, and that's just from my point of view. Now, you may laugh, but Albany, they almost won the national championship last year,
Oh
y'all.
yeah.
In the FCS. Like, they're a legit threat if we overlook them. They're in a perfect spot for a trap game, too, right in between Penn State and Pitt. So they're like North Dakota State, too, like how they beat Iowa State a couple times. Like, they're on that level. So they return everybody. What I hear, I don't know anything about them. I'm gonna have to look into them more. They don't have any podcasters that I can find, so I couldn't find anybody to preview their game. Obviously, the backyard brawl is always going to be a tough game. Yeah. Look at the game last year. Even though Nico started, you guys were clearly a better team than them. Look at what they had. They basically didn't have a quarterback last year. He ended up being a tight end by the year was over. So, obviously Pitt's always going to be a tough game. And Narduzzi, they've got a lot of really talented guys on that team year to year. I mean, you look at the guys that they had on defense and stuff last year, they're talented. So, but Kansas they won 9 games last year and they returned everybody. They lost their offensive coordinator. And then Oklahoma State. I think I picked them in the top 3 this year. I think they're that good. Iowa State is – you never know what you're going to get out of them. You just don't. I mean, they can win 6 games. They can win 9. K-State, we know what they're going to be. Yeah. And then you said Arizona. What I like about it, Brandon, is so you're at home against Penn State, at home against Albany, then you're on the road, at home. Then you're on the road, at home. So it's really broken up. Then you got 2 home games in a row.
Yeah.
Then you got a road game, 2 road games in a row. But, I mean, it's really broken up nicely for you, like you said. So,
yeah,
I think the schedule's manageable because of that home away deal instead of, straight away games anywhere like on the tough games. So, I think that's going to help. So,
that's definitely going to help us for sure.
A lot of people asking what your favorite food is.
Favorite food is, oh, man.
He's a line.
My favorite kind of like genre of food, or kind of type of food is like I'm a big Italian guy. I mean, based on like pasta and stuff like that.
Oh,
but favorite food as of like recently, I usually so my go-to meal. If I really want to like really eat, it's usually a steak and then some mac and cheese on the side. But it's not any mac and cheese. It has to be Stouffer's mac and cheese. I don't know what they put in their mac and cheese. It's always good. Stouffer's mac and cheese. I usually get a nice little steak, throw it on the grill.
So you're not a Velveeta guy? Not a Velveeta shells and cheese guy?
Not really, because Velveeta, it's just that cheese is a little too thick. It's too, you know what I mean? I have to thin it out. That's why I like Stouffer's, because it has a kick to it.
Hey, why the defense win the cook-off?
I think that I think the judges. I think it was poor judges. I think we should have different judges.
Poor judges. Who were the judges?
We had a lot of our support staff and the judges.
Oh yeah, they were biased for sure.
I mean, I feel like there was a little more bias towards them, which is fine. It's all right.
They were trying to give the defense an uncommon dub, bro. That was all it was.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think for sure that
they had to let them win something.
Yeah. It's cool.
Funny, man. So you put out a starting 5 on the basketball team, like if you had to pick on the football team. Do you remember who it was?
I remember pick Aubrey. I picked Rodney, Sean, Nelson. How many was that? Who else I picked? I think that's it. It would be me, Sean, Aubrey.
Let's see. It's crazy. Somebody actually has an image of it. Hold on. All right. Brandon Yates starting 5. It's actually an image somebody made.
Oh, yeah.
Aiden, Rodney, Aubrey, Brandon. You put yourself at the power forward spot, and then Sean Martin in the center.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be pretty good. Pretty good.
That'd be pretty neat. Yeah.
Starting
I
five.
heard Malone could play though.
Yeah, Malone. We actually wow. After that question, I really started thinking about like the guys on our team that can play basketball. We got a lot of guys that can play basketball. You know, we got a lot of guys that played basketball recently, or back in high school. You know what I mean? And that's we got a lot of guys on the team that can really play basketball pretty well.
Are you going to be the motivational guy before games this year, like you have been in the past?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what I mean?
Do you ever lose your voice doing that?
Oh yeah, all the time. I'm trying to dial back since you know what I mean. In the game, I have to communicate stuff like that, so I can't. I have to dial back just a tad bit, but
yeah.
I mean, but I'm still going to be the same motivational guy.
Who gets to swing the sledgehammer this year?
Every week is different, so I guess it all comes down to who Coach Mike picks. You know what I mean? But I Coach Mike, every single time I've held the hammer, we've won. If you look back at it, every single time I had the hammer, I had it for the bowl game. I had it for TCU. I mean, like I've had it every single time I've held the hammer.
Wow.
So if Coach Mike wants to win for week 1, he's going to put me at hammer.
I agree for sure. Eric Flowers said pepperoni rolls are Italian.
Yeah, for sure. 1,000%. I love a good pepperoni roll. Actually, I need a good pepperoni roll spot. I need a nice authentic pepperoni roll. Nothing like, you know what I mean? I need some real authentic, a place I can go roll up on. Give me a good pepperoni roll. So
there's one around here called Big Loafer that's really good.
Big Loafer, okay.
Yeah, but I live in the Huntington area.
Yeah.
Ever down this way. Have you ever been down to a more Marshall is like in Huntington area?
Yeah, I've rolled by that area a couple times. You know what I mean? We got a couple guys that lives down in that area. I mean, when Doug had his wedding, it was in Kentucky. We rode right by there.
Wyatt's from there too.
Yeah. So yeah.
Hey, Doug playing for Minnesota right now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he is.
Hopefully he makes that squad.
Yeah, so he's doing pretty well out there.
Good. Is he on the 3 deep at least, or no?
Yeah.
He is. Okay, that's cool. Hopefully he makes a team. He's good enough too. I think he'll make it. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, so a couple more questions, then we're going to bounce out of here, guys. So if you have a question for Brandon, don't hesitate to ask.
Far away. I can answer anything.
One other thing I was going to talk about as well, another player we haven't mentioned is Fator Mulba. You know, I talked to a former Penn State offensive lineman. He transferred out. I messaged him and just wanted to ask about Mulba. This is right after Mulba transferred in. And he said that Mulba was the strongest defensive lineman he's ever went against. This was like over a year ago.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've gone against him several times. What say you?
Yeah, I think for sure he's definitely like one of the strongest guys in the weight room on the team. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? When it then comes down to working out, like it's me and him working out together usually most of the time. And we go against each other.
You guys work out together?
We work out together. We go against each other. I mean, every day in practice. I mean, he's definitely super strong, super strong in the upper body and arms. You know what I mean? And he moves pretty well. He's gotten better with moving and stuff like that. Like he's doing a really good job. He is super strong. You know what I mean? And he's getting better every single day. You know what I mean? And when they had him over at Penn State, they had him super high in weight. You know what I mean? And Big Ten football is a lot different from how we play. You know what I mean? He came over, he slimmed down, he's got a lot stronger, and be able to move a little bit better. You know what I mean? He's doing pretty well. I think it's a guy that's really underrated right now. A lot of teams are going to take notice when they see him move and really hold down the center of the offensive line of the scrimmage, and I think he's going to put a lot of people on notice.
Look how massive he was right there. Oh crap! Yeah. Look how massive he was over here on this picture.
Yeah.
I mean, look at him, right? He was so big right here.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, he's definitely slimmed down, but he's still pretty strong and still pretty cut up now. He's definitely. Yeah,
that's crazy, man. He's going to be. I agree with you. I'm really looking forward to him. And you got him and Russell right there behind him.
Yeah.
What we heard a lot about Corey McIntyre. before he got injured. Did you get to go against him any?
I went against him like kind of a little bit here and there. He was a lot younger guy, so we never really played against each other a lot. So like when we played against each other, he usually played with a different group than I did. But
We're hearing great things about him.
He's gonna be really good in the future. I think we've got a lot of guys in the future. It's just gonna be really, really well. That's gonna do really, really well and really, really good. Once he comes back and starts doing his thing, I think he's not gonna be even stronger, even faster, even he's gonna be a little bit smarter in that aspect.
What about some under the radar guys for us to keep our eye on, Brandon?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm always down to give shout out to teammates. Let me think. Guys are really going to jump out there this season. I mentioned a lot of guys. Let me think.
You have, Mitch.
I mentioned a lot of guys so far. I think Huddy, he's going to continue to do his thing. A lot of guys I'm going to bring up is a lot of guys that's going to do well on special teams. A lot of the younger guys like Zay Jennings, he's coming in well, do a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Dior Hubbard, he's coming in he's buying into the whole special teams and doing a lot of things. I mean, Dede Farmer, everybody knows he's going to come in and do really, really well.
What about Cutter? Ben Cutter, he never gets stopped.
Cutter, yeah, he's going to be really good. I mean, that whole linebacker room is going to do.
Reed Carrico.
It's going to be a lot better. Reed Carrico, he's going to be a leader in that room as well. He does a lot of things on special teams. It's really, really, really good. I mean, he just buys into the system. He's a glue guy. You know what I mean? We got a lot of glue guys on our teams that does really well. Brandon Raymond, he came in. He's doing really, really well. He catches the ball really good. He does a lot of good things. So far, he's coming in. He's catching the ball really well, and he's doing a lot of things blocking-wise and effort-wise. Does pretty well.
Well, that's great. He did answer this question, WVU fan. He said TJ was doing really well. So he's going to be a starter, am I right? Or they haven't released the depth chart, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he's a starter.
I mean, when people watch our defense, we got so many good players that we're able to mix and match and put people in different positions in certain plays and certain aspects of the field that's going to do pretty well. So I wouldn't sit here and say like, is he going to be a starter? Is he going to be this? Is he going to be that? I mean, I think people are just going to watch and see like, wow, we get a lot of people in, and a lot of people can do a lot of different things and a lot of unique things. So it's just looking around the defense. I mean, I wouldn't really look at like who's starting, who's not. I mean, it's just really like it comes out of a situation like third and long. I'll get our pass rushers in there. You're going to see TB. You're going to see Eddie. You're going to see TJ. You're going to see those guys come in and they're going to do a lot of funky things. So I really just think just looking up and just admiring what the defense is going to do.
Hey, no worries, WV fan. I know everybody doesn't come in at the same time. It's not a big deal at all. Really appreciate you for being on here, man. I want to give a shout out to Sean Uphold. He is the owner of Magic Shine, and he used to sponsor this channel. He still sponsors my other channel, but now, if a lot of you guys don't know this, I have been given the job as the new Locked On West Virginia guy. Locked On is a sports company, that a sports media company. So they approached me about a job and they gave it to me. So I'll be transitioning this show into that. Just want you guys to know that it's a big opportunity for me, and I'm excited for that. But Sean really helped me, whenever I lost my first sponsor, get by for a while. So he was great, and he deserves a lot of credit for where this show is and where it's going. He's been literally integral to it. He helped me build the website and everything. So really want to give a big shout out to Sean. So thank you, Sean, for everything you've done, man. Really appreciate that. All right, Brandon. One more question. We'll go with one more question really quick. Give me a personal prediction for yourself this year. Obviously, the entire offensive line wants to be a Joe Ward Award winner. What is something for you, though? I don't think we've had a Remington Ward a guy since Dan Moses. So is that in the back of your mind somewhere?
My back of my mind is just really just being the best college player I can be, and whatever accolades come with that. I mean, it comes. I mean, I know that how tough it is to really get accolades as a West Virginia player, based on the fact that I think media never really gives us a fair chance to really pretty much a lot of things. You know what I mean? And I think when I always sit here and talk about stuff like that, and getting the limelight. I always sit here and just think, like, you know what I mean? Not a lot of people believe in West Virginia, but West Virginia believes in West Virginia, and I think looking at awards, you always sit there and like, okay, these people. I think a lot of people on our team deserves awards. A lot of people deserve to get put on these lists, and the limelight. You know what I mean? I can go down. I can plead a case for every single player on my team that deserves to get up on the list. You know what I mean? I think based on the fact that the media doesn't give us the coverages and the things that I think we deserve, it makes it hard to get on the list to be able to win things. Now, for sure, I want to be able to get on the list for Remington and be able to be one of the top centers in the country, because I think I'm one of the best kept secrets in college football right now, based on the fact that I have a tremendous amount of snaps, and have developed those here. And you know what I mean, and I produce in a lot of situations that a lot of people have been able to produce. You know what I mean, and I can sit here up and down and say I deserve these awards, but I mean, the biggest reward right now is I want to win. I just want to win games. I want to win the Big 12 championship. I want to be able to lead my team and get them to the positions they want to be in. So accolades for me, like, I really don't care about that. You know what I mean? That's gonna fall on, and if I just become the best player and the best leader I can be, and if I do that, and that's my only job, and that's all I can do, and I do that to my best of my ability, then I feel like I'm be in the right places. You know what I mean? And my goal is to just be able to get to glory and put West Virginia in glory and put their name out there and continue to keep doing what I need to do. You know what I mean? And my job is to just represent West Virginia in the highest order. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Jacob Yoho said, Brandon, put a Penn State player on their butt for me.
That's mandatory. That's
mandatory. It's a given. It's a given.
Yeah.
That's okay, Luke. We'll hope you enjoy the show, man. I'm glad you started it, though. Let's go, bro. We believe. That's right. Brandon, can't thank you enough for doing this, man. It's been really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
If you can, after I end the stream, just stick around for like 2 or 3 minutes. I just got a couple questions.
Oh, wow.
But, guys, thank you for joining. Thank you for supporting the channel. There's still 120 people in here. I appreciate you guys for doing this. We will have another episode, I think, before the transition. But if not, you'll see me come back as Locked On West Virginia. Either way, it'll be this channel. You don't have to go anywhere else. It'll be the same thing, but you may be rebranded. So thank you, guys. As I say, thank you to Brandon. 20 days, guys, and we'll be watching these guys tee off against Penn State. So let's give them all the support we can give. Anything you want to say before we get off here, Brandon?
No. I mean, just anybody that gets a chance, you know what I mean? Just keep following the channel. I mean, you're doing really good things. You know what I mean? I've been watching you for a while, and I think that everybody should tune in for sure and just keep on locking in, because he's doing really good content. And I think more and more we get players on this, and I think the biggest thing that you can do is just tell your story, because I think more guys get on here and tell their stories, then a lot more buy-in's going to come from the fans. People don't understand us and really be able to feel immersed in our team. You know what I mean? That's all we want to do, is just, you know what I mean, create this connection between us and the fans, and be able to have a good environment when we come into that stadium, and be able to and be able to beat these teams for sure.
Absolutely. And you guys can follow Brandon on X at FlyGuy_Brandon1 on X. So go give him a follow, guys. Make sure you're following him. He's always got good stuff to say on there. All right, guys, for Brandon, for Mountaineer Paul, this episode is over, and we are out.
See you.